Hello everybody, welcome back to another CPL Season 8 cast. As usual, my name is Cold Warp Gates. Today I'll be bringing you games from Group 33. Now as a quick disclaimer, I do want to say that the players in this group did a really good job uploading their replays. There's a whole lot of them, like possibly every single match was played here. But I just don't have the time to cast all of them tonight. So I'm going to cast about half of them. And then the plan is on Thursday I'll come back with the second half of games from this group. That being said, I am going to try to show each player a few times today, just to give everyone a fair shake. These players are, I checked, they all got placed into either Tier 1 or Tier 0, so you know that these are going to be some good games. And with that being said, let's just get into it. Alright, here we go. In the bottom right, in the pink Terran, it's Stimpack. I think I'm supposed to say that. And in the top left of Polypoid, in the olive, maybe a bit darker than olive color, the Terran player Lagoner555, who both of these players went by, these are their AKAs. I forget what this replay was called. Let me see who these actually are. Oh no, it's in a different. I think this is Jesse and RedAxis. I should have checked that before. I should have remembered that. We'll check that after this game to be sure. This is what happens when people play under different names. So since these are games from preseason week 1, they are all going to be on Polypoid, but it's a pretty standard map, so it shouldn't be too bad. Lagoner here with a very quick scout. I assume going to build a barracks in the middle and float it around. Doesn't seem like an aggressive move. Or maybe not. Maybe we are still going to build the barracks at home. I'm not sure what's going on here. I'm not sure what you would be looking for with such an early scout and not be building a barracks with it. This is what happens when you have a Protoss player cast ATVT, guys. One thing goes off script and I have no idea. And we have a faster gas from Stimpack here. Does this mean that Lagoner is going to go like for a quick expansion? Maybe this is why we have this SUV trying to look for signs of early aggression. I feel like you find that it's cross map and that everything looks pretty decent, you know, pretty normal in your opponent's base. I think this is going to be safe enough to expand, and here we go. We are going to have a gasless expand even before the first Marine here. From Lagoner, it looks like. And meanwhile, I think Stimpack, yeah, Stimpack isn't even scouting. So this could go, you know, this could go a long time without being seen here. You know, this SUV being absolutely fearless, actually doing a decent amount of damage to this Marine, but not quite enough. I think a Lagoner would have preferred to have that stay alive. You know, just to sit out here and see if there was any kind of move out. We do have Stimpack coming out with a late scout here. So I wonder if you see this kind of expansion, like I feel like it's like a little bit too late to just expand yourself. You have to apply like some kind of pressure, I assume. I'm going straight up to the machine shop on the factory. Not going to get vultures just yet. Maybe going to get some upgrades. Oh, hold on. We have a starport? I see on the... Where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. I saw it on the production tab. Did not see it in the game. So So this is definitely very different here from Stimpack. I think it's going to be for Wraiths and not a drop, because you don't really want to drop 1 or 2 tanks. It's like way too dangerous. But now I think when Stimpack scouts this bunker, I don't know if they went... No, it doesn't look like they actually went far enough to see the command center, but I think you would assume that. Actually, Stimpack doing a bunker rush here, I don't think this was ever going to work. Like, yeah, a lag owner was not about to let that happen. The instant that started building, these Marines came out of there. No room for shenanigans here. But that's not going to let that's not going to make Stimpack stop trying to be aggressive here. Definitely wants to put on some kind of pressure to punish their opponent for this greedy expansion, and it is going to be Wraiths. What is there to stop this? So actually, a lag owner is getting a very quick starport of their own. I don't know if... I don't think you would have seen that directly. There's no scan or anything. Oh, another bunker gets denied here. I'm just worried that there's no turrets, there's no Goliaths. So like if it is Wraith versus Wraith, then Stimpack is just going to have more Wraiths, right? It's interesting because I think it is common to get the starport when you're being contained. Like when you are going to be behind on the ground army, it's a good way to, you know, avoid being killed and to still put pressure on the map. So it's funny that Stimpack went for that this game, kind of preempted the move from lag owner. Oh, even repairing. Guys, we actually have a Terran player who's repairing their units. I can't remember the last time I've seen that. And these tanks now putting a lot of pressure on this bunker. There is one tank in siege mode here in the back for lag owner, but it's not going to be able to stop these tanks from crawling forward. There's 3 tanks here for Stimpack. And now the tank from lag owner is under fire. Either race helping out here. It's looking pretty scary for lag owner. The Wraith, yeah, look, 1 Wraith is not as good as 2 Wraiths. Sorry to say. Now the mineral line is under fire. The boys are being pulled. Actually, SCV is doing way more work than anything else for lag owner here. But, well, actually, but okay, that was the last 2 tanks for Stimpack were wiped out by the SCVs there. Fortunately for Stimpack, seems like the reinforcements have been rallied over. The Wraiths here, just fighting the barracks. Oh no, the Wraiths are split up here. We have turrets trying to go up in the mineral line, but I don't think that's going to happen. Another tank from lag owner is brought up, trying to repair it, but damage from this siege tank, which was too much. But that one is also killed by SCVs. These SCVs are literally the only thing keeping lag owner in the game, I think. It's amazing. Oh, so we have 2 Wraiths here pulled up by lag owner, but 4 from Stimpack. I mean, absolutely brutal. Trying to get out on the map to do something here, but the ruthless moving shot micro from Stimpack is going to prevent that from doing anything. Now I don't know what a lag owner can do here. Doesn't seem like Stimpack is going to give them any time to breathe and rebuild here. We have a few turrets. We have 1 turret that was able to finish in the main. We have an armory trying to come up for Goliath, but like at this point, a Goliath would just be to keep your main alive. I don't think you can save your natural at this point. So we have this turret here. Stimpack kind of like blocking it with their own barracks, so can't shoot it. But it seems like they're going to back off anyway. So maybe the natural is going to stay alive. Maybe I have no idea what I'm talking about. Oh, the gas is under fire. Always important in this matchup. Lag Owner actually repairing their own barracks. I cannot believe we've seen so much repair in this game. It's criminal how little Terrans repair. Okay, but now that Stimpack has found this position that's safe from the defending tanks, the command center is under heavy fire. And you can't even lift to escape because the race will actually do more damage in the air. Lag Owner did manage to build this turret back here, but it's not nearly close enough. We do have an attempt at a bust out for Lag Owner. Can Stimpack hold on? We do still have this bunker in the back with just 2 Marines in it. The tanks are unsieging, and it seems like Stimpack was able to maintain this contain here and maintain this pressure. And Lag Owner is going to tap out. Now I can check the replay name to see who those players actually were in the CPL. Let's see. Oh yeah, so that was Jesse versus RedAxis, and I believe Jesse is Stimpack and RedAxis is Lag Owner. Good to know. What? Nope, that was completely wrong because now we have McSmush versus Jess, and it's Lag Owner back in the game. I really have no idea what I'm talking about today. All right, in the top right of Polypoid in the magenta Terran, it's the Lag Owner, aka Jess, aka Jesse, aka I don't even know. In the bottom left, in the black Protoss, it's McSmush, which I think is one of my favorite screen names in all of CPL. Now I feel like McSmush was so I actually did research and took notes for this cast. I don't know if I'll ever do that again, but I thought McSmush was Terran, but they're actually listed as race picker, so I think maybe they pick Protoss versus Terran. I'm gonna confidently make that up and assume it's true. And we have a very early scout here from McSmush. I wonder if this is just going for the gamble, trying to hope that you get the first scout and do a gas steal. I think it's about the only reason you would scout on pylon like this. And this time the math is not going to work out, but it's not really, it's not like a crippling cost to scout this early. Oh, we also have a 9 gate. So this is basically a forward gate. I feel like if you are going to build a gateway on 9, like you might as well like put the pylon here and then put the gateway here, just to get that zealot out a few seconds quicker. But we are going to see the zealot, maybe even 2 or 3 zealots, try to cross the map here. The fact that it's cross map is going to make McSmush a bit sad, but you could totally transition out of this and still apply some pressure. Meanwhile, in the base of Jess, looks like they're playing very standard here. If you ever heard Dablime, a depot above fits like a glove, so there will be a nice little micro hole here for the Marines to run around in where Zealots can't chase them. And we do have McSmush going into the gas rather than going for the quick nexus. I think, so what I have gathered about this build is like if you can steal the gas or just delay the factory, you can expand before you get your gas. But if you don't, like if the factory's going to come up at a normal time, then you have to get a goon out to not die to Vulture. That seems like what McSmush is going for this time. Now we do have these zealots still trying to cross the map. You can barely see them on the mini-map. Super unfortunate here, but they are making it. This factory, though, I'm pretty sure is going to get done. Unless the zealot is just a hero. The probe gets taken out here. It's nice to add a tiny bit of DPS to the zealot. One SCV does go down, but a second finishes the factory right away. And actually, I'm amazed that we went for the machine shop first. Like, I feel like you always get a vulture first. Tell you what, we're not. Oh no, we're not. So we're not just getting a goon to expand here. We're getting the Citadel, which I can only imagine is for DTs. We had the Zealot being stuck, by the way. I hate when that happens. It doesn't only happen to goons. It happens. I think it can happen to any unit. So this Zealot is going to get cleaned up. We do have the second one headed in here, but well, there's this many Marines already. Wait, what? Did the Zealot just now die? I'm confused. I thought it died already. I heard the sound later. Anyway, this Zealot I don't think is going to get much done. Like, we almost have a tank. We have a bunch of Marines here. Well, does manage to finish off that wounded Marine, but just reactivating that micro, keeping the Marines alive. And the fact that these Marines are so bruised is not a small problem for Terran. It does make it that much harder to try to pressure, to try to punish the Protoss, because like all these Marines are like one goon hit away from death, and that can make a big difference in the early game. So back home, McSmush did go up to 2 gateways. Jess, I'm pretty sure Jess saw the Citadel, or at least it was in range of a unit. I don't know if it was like perceived. Oh, this goon though misrallied and he gets popped immediately. That is a big deal. Fortunately for McSmush, there are 2 DTs on the way. But now, you know, these goons, or these DTs, they can't chase down a vulture if the Terran spends enough APM on it, right? So, could still be ugly. Now the first DT is going to go right past the army and go towards the main, and the second one is cleaning up these Marines. It just turns around right away, immediately laying some mines here at the front. Can the DT get through the minefield? I think it's going to trigger both of them. Why does that one not trigger? What is... Oh, well, okay, we went back to fix that. McSmush made it past that mine, and then came back and goes, oh, okay, that was not fair, guys. You know, I'll take that mine. I'll restore balance to the universe. Mind dragging to kill Marines, not exactly the deal that you want for a DT, but the important thing is that this push from Terran was shut down, and McSmush is able to get up their expansion. And oh my god, I think McSmush is... These are like... We're up to 6 DTs now. Oh, and the last mine is gone. Oh my god, if this mine can drag onto these tanks. I feel like... Oh my... We have 2 more DTs coming? Okay, I'm pretty sure that McSmush is a Terran player who's off-racing here, because, like, no one other than a Terran player would just make only DTs like this. Like, I think we're seeing McSmush, like, basically work through their trauma of being killed by DTs in the past. Oh, mind dragging to get a tank. Absolutely brutal. Now, there is a turret up in the natural and one on the top of the ramp, so I think these DTs are going to be shut down for now. Surely. But they do continue to just be rallied across the map. What is going on? Well, in the meantime, both players have gotten their naturals up. Probe count is just a little bit ahead for Protoss. McSmush even getting a cannon, because who has time to make goons when you can make more DTs? Oh, And this one has 3 kills. I think these must be like vultures and mines. So let's see here. Both players, you know, they've lost units. They've had a bit of ugliness going on here. We'll want to see them try to rebuild into a normal-looking army here. But actually, it seems like McSmush is skipping the goons altogether, going directly into, you know, into this speed zealots with +1. Like this is a PvZ. I'm a little worried about that. Like, if Jess just sits at home, you know, maybe gets up a little wall here, get some more mines up, these speed zealots are not going to be very threatening here. Like, I think we're going to see so many casualties to mines. There we go. We do finally see range and 3 goons in production, as well as a robo to get some observers. But the more I think about it, I think the situation is getting better for Terran. Like, we don't have a third upper Protoss. The Protoss tech is kind of in disarray. There's no way to deal with these mines. So Terran is pretty safe right now. Oh, we're going up to 5 factories. This is a really smart thing to do. Like, if anything weird happened in the early game, like, if Protoss hasn't hit all of their timings perfectly, just throw down like 5 or 6 factories and go kill them. Like, because they'll have to get everything down just right to deal with it. Now, we do actually have a third base for Protoss up in the top, hidden here in the corner with a wall of pylons and cannons. I don't know if Jess is going to think to check the top left this early in the game, so this might be up for a while here. We do have Jess scanning. Not sure what was scanned here. Maybe looking for DTs somewhere. Now, one thing, these, you know, these, oh my, this is 7 factories on 2 bases. Jess is ready to punish McSmush for their hubris here. So one thing, like these 2 base, like high factory count pushes, they are potentially weak to DTs. Like, we're not going to have vessels anytime soon here. That's some big minus, by the way. We're not going to have vessels anytime soon, so Terran will just have to rely on scanners for detection. And if McSmush like spaces out DTs or even like uses a shuttle to save them, they might be able to waste all of the energy on these scanners and then still have like 1 or 2 DTs left. Now Jess is moving out here. Terran is ahead on supply despite being a bit down on workers. That means that this armor is going to be really scary for Protoss. We do have Goon range, we do have Zealot legs, but we don't have Storm, we don't have Reavers, we don't have an Arbiter. It's going to be just straight Gateway Man here against this Terran army. Now these Vultures taking a few free shots from the Goons. The tanks are here. I'm really worried about these tanks moving onto these mines. I think maybe we should not have gone down this ramp. I think we should have just sieged up here, waited for reinforcements. By the way, why are these Vultures stuck behind this tank? Like, we saw a Vulture behind a Marine earlier. Like, I hate when that kind of stuff happens to me. Oh, by the way, we do have that drop in the main. Tried to kill some depots in the top left. I thought the shuttle would be here to defend the Protoss, but instead it's going here to annoy the Terran. So definitely frustrating for Jess, but I think you probably feel okay about that in the end. We do have turrets going up here on this contain. Do we not have siege mode? Oh no, we don't. Here we go. Siege mode is almost done. Definitely important. Now, one depot did go down here. There's a tank to save the SCVs, but all of these factories are silent. They are supply blocked right now. So this is actually critical to defend this push. Maybe that drop was better than I thought. We have this shuttle returning home, bringing some zealots. These mines are dangerously close to these tanks. Oh my god, huge mine drag and friendly fire on those tanks. And now it's only 2 tanks here up on the high ground. I think McSmush has done it. This is why Terrans hate this matchup. Like, wow. I feel like that should not have gone nearly as well as it did for Protoss. And now we have these gateway units coming here to finish up the last of the tanks. And the thing is, like, Jess might think it's okay if it's still 2 base versus 2 base, but there is this third here in the top left. And Jess has not seen it yet. This Vulture might check. It might go up the ramp and be very sad. Oh, it didn't even go up, it just got shot at. So actually... Oh, okay, that does give Jess vision there. So Jess should know that it's up there. Jess does have a 3rd command center that was built in base and is being flown out to the mineral only. But not a whole lot of units to actually threaten that 3rd base anytime soon here. Oh no, is this tank stuck? I mean, I guess you can fix it with this factory, but like, that's unfortunate. We have a bunch of units being queued here for Jess. That long supply block from the drop here actually really messed up that build. Oh my god. Okay, yeah. I'm 100% confident that McSmush is a Terran player who's playing Protoss as like a cathartic release from all of the pain of playing TVP. Like, we had forward gate into DT, into a drop, into a hidden 3rd base, into 3 Stargate carrier. Yeah, this is every Terran's worst nightmare. Like, the only thing that's more upsetting is like being recalled when you already have like 20 turrets and mines in your main, and they still recall you and it still does damage. Now Jess has scanned this base. Actually, I think probably missed the Stargates. Can maybe see the fleet beacon. I'm not sure. We don't see any Goliaths in production, so I think that was not scouted by the Terran. We do see these turrets going up to block recalls. I'm trying to see the scans. In StarCraft 2, like, you can see scans on the minimap. Makes it a lot easier to tell what's going on when you're observing a game. The McSmush is setting up for this 4th base here. And again, like, I think because the army count has been reset a few times for Jess, we're not going to see Terran able to push out here. And like, if they do, I mean, there's no like Goliath. There's already 3 carriers here. The air weapons are on the way. There's 3 more carriers almost done. So like 6 carriers are going to shut down this push if the Grand Army for Protoss doesn't do it. Now, this is a pretty small Grand Force. All of the money from McSmush has gone into those carriers, but I think that that's enough. By the way, this is right here. This part of the map is this is the only reason that I would ever not like this map, is like how often units get stuck on these pillars like this. But anyway, we do have these carriers here. Jess is completely unprepared to deal with these air units here, and these DTs are even still getting work done. So Jess is going to try to just get as much damage done as possible here in the mineral line, but Terran units do not do well in this kind of panic scenario. Just trying to force their way in. They need to be careful. They need to set up ahead of time. Although, McSmush is determined to walk down this ramp and die to mines. Well, he has one of these gateways rallied. We had a Vulture coming into this 4th base, but it was cleaned up. The carriers are going to clean up the last of the tanks from that push. We do finally see a lot of Goliaths in production here, but once again, the Terran army has been reset. Now McSmush has a commanding supply lead. It's going to be very hard for Terran to come back from this. Like this third base is... Oh, actually, it's been up for a while. I do recall. There's no gas there, though. The upgrades for Terran... Actually, there are no upgrades. So these carriers are going to do a ton of damage. I'd like to see a second Cyber Core for the armor on carriers, because if you didn't know, carriers start with the most armor of any unit. They start with 4 armor. Which is pretty ridiculous. Especially when Goliaths shoot twice, that armor applies twice. And now, these turrets that were built to stop recalls in the main, they're not going to stop 3 carriers. So, these Goliaths will have to come back here to defend the Terran main. Oh, look at this. I was wondering where the other carriers were. They're split in 2, which is usually like a very risky move here. And actually, this one carrier is just a bit too far forward. Can get shot. But it's going to be really hard for Terran to defend both of these fronts here. McSmush being as abusive as possible with these carriers. I would like to see... Well, these ones should go back in now. Like, try to get in for the next wave of Goliaths. Meanwhile, McSmush is getting a 5th base. And defending it. There's no more gateways. There's no more gateway units. It's just carriers now. That's all we have from McSmush. And that could be a mistake. Right? Like, eventually Goliath just... Like, if it's just pure Goliath versus pure carrier, the Goliaths will win. We even do see one carrier go down here. Now, granted, there is a huge supplier lead and worker lead for Protoss here, but there is a potential, like, if all of the Protoss money goes into these carriers, then if we see them continue to get picked off here, it could be hard for Protoss to win a fight. There's not a whole lot of ground units on the field here, like this. I don't know what this force thought they were doing. Zealots do get on top of the tanks, but they get cleaned up by these Goliaths. The tanks obliterate those goons. Like, I feel like once Terran is just spamming Goliaths, you just stop making carriers and you pump out gateways. And then if you can get Storm, that's really great, because Goliaths, they're like big dumb hydras. They clump up so hard and they get wrecked by Storm. And now we have, again, we have like a very small ground force here from McSmush, like, not even being supported by carriers. So I think Terran is going to win this fight. Actually, where are the tanks? I don't know. But that does leave the natural open. There's no mining happening at the natural. Jess is down to 1 mineral line here. It definitely needs this push to work. And actually, without all of the tanks, this fight in the middle, Jess is forced to tap out. It sounds like there maybe was some struggling going on in this game. It is one of the costs of playing in the CPL with players from all over the world. Sometimes you just have like... Alright, that's going to be a game for McSmush here. We're going to go to game 3. One more game with Jess in it, but with a new Protoss this time. Hey, we got Return in the chat. Good to see you. All right, in the top right, in the black Terran, once again, it's Jess, aka Lag Owner. Which is funny that the person named Lag Owner was complaining about lag. You know what I mean? Anyway, so we have in the top left in the red Protoss Primal with the From Rush in the chat. Now, we get to, like, that, you know, you can't just talk to them. Like, you have to say, like, hey, how are you doing, while your probe leaves your base at the start of your game. Oh yeah, PBT is by far by a worse matchup. Like, I feel so dumb because like it's supposed to be the it's supposed to be like the advantage matchup for Protoss, and like half of it is like there's like no Terran players, so I don't get that much practice with it, and the other half is like my late game engagements are so bad. Like I feel like I've gotten okay at getting through the early game, with the occasional hiccup, but like in the late game, like my army is just absolutely wrecked, and like I never feel confident enough to pull off a recall, and when I do, like it's like 6 goons, they all die. Anyway, enough about me complaining. It seems like it's gonna be very normal in this game. No forward gate, no pylon scout with the probe here from Primal, so this game, both players are just gonna play it completely standard. Uh-oh. Now it's literally from. Dude, I bet Jess right now is like, oh god, how many gateways are in the middle of the map right now? Like, if they're this talkative. It looks like both players are going to get the first scout off. You love to see it, not gonna have like one player with a huge advantage due to the RNG here. But also both players playing completely standard, so not gonna scout anything too wild in either base. Oh, by the way, I do appreciate how Primal is actually playing under the right tag. You don't have some AKA that has something to do with your CPL registered name. The scouting work is being driven out, or at least the probe is driven out, and this one the SCV will be driven out shortly. Range showing up for Primal. Probably no DT shenanigans here. Okay, this is too far to chase. There you go. Primal does catch it. Pulls back the scouting probe. Jess is going to clear out their natural here, get this bunker. Again, going right for the tank. Not going to get fancy with any mine expand or anything like that. A classic 21 Nexus from Primal here. Yeah, we're going to see the gateway and the goon and the pylon and the back to probe production. There you go. Pylon was a bit late just because it waited for the probe to get back here. The command center is coming up. Terran, the tank is coming out. Would be there to stop goons from pressuring the bunker, but with this kind of build from Protoss, it takes too long to get your units out, so you're not going to be able to put a whole bunch of damage on that bunker anyway. And the row is going up at a good time for Primal as well. So, like, this is one of those games where I'm not going to say anything too dramatic for a while here. Both players going for a solid mid to late game. Now, I wonder if we. So in the previous game, we saw Jess go for 7 factories on 2 bases. I don't know if that was a reaction to all of the shenanigans that McSmush was doing, or if that was the game plan for Jess all along. So we could see that here in a much more normal looking game. Given how fast the robo is up, like, Primal will know what Jess is doing, and won't have DTs this time to clown on the push or to kill a depots in the Terran main. So this push could, if we do see a push like that, it could be pretty strong for Jess here. And actually, Jess, smelling blood in the water here, knows that it's only 2 goons here, actually being really aggressive, trying to chase them out here. I think Primal with the quick retreat is going to save these goons. I don't know if I wouldn't recommend continuing this push. I think, like, yeah, there's plenty of goons here. You can even take the high ground. Oh, I don't know about this one. Yeah, this push is gonna get pretty spooky for Terran. Mines are gonna be the only thing that could save these units, and it seems like Primal is going to respect that. So not too bad for either player here. Meanwhile, Primal getting up a very standard 6.5-minute third base. Where was the observer? There it is. Alright, so this should head right over to the Terran main. You want to get in there around the 7-minute mark. That's when the Terran builds tend to diverge, so you know what you're really running into. Given that we're just now seeing the armory here, I don't think we're going to see like a 5 or like 7 fact push here. So I don't think it's going to pay off in time if we're going to see a push like that. Now, some Vultures trying to run by here. They do get in the main, 2 of them though, and they do get to lay mines on top of the ramp. Boy, I hate this when this happens to me. I feel so dumb. The goons are going to die to mines. Probes are going down. 4 kills so far, 5 kills. 1 of them is a goon. I actually don't know if mine kills go to the Vulture or not, but it looks like no. So, wow, we're at like 9 or so probes here. Huge play from Jess. It does manage to pull Terran back into the worker lead. And the supply count is about even, so Terran's feeling pretty good. Ooh, going up to 2 armories. And 4 factories. I think we're going to see a third base soon. Now, I remember back in the day there were pushes where you max out on 2 bases with some upgrades. I don't know if that's what we're seeing here. Does this observer ever actually get in the Terran main? I'm not sure. It seems to just be hanging out here. I don't think Primal knows what the factory count is or what the tech is from Terran, and that's just a scary position to be in. You really have to know, like, if there are a ton of factories, then you need to match them with gateways. Actually, it's not match. It's like you need like half again as many gateways as they have factories. So that would be pretty dangerous. And actually, you know, maybe I just don't know what Terran builds at all. Like, this is why I'm bad at this matchup, because we actually are going up to 6 factories. So it seems like we're going to get like +1/+1, maybe even like 2-1 and go for a really strong 2-base push. Well, right as I say that, is Jess going to clear out this third? Is that what I'm seeing? Like, do I just have no idea what I'm talking about at all? That could be it. Like, there's caster curse where you predict something and then the complete opposite happens, and then they're just being dumb and not knowing how this game works. Like, this is way too early. I don't know why we're pushing out at this timing as Jess. Like, we're still building factories. Our +1 attack is not done. Like, this is only 5 tanks. Primal being very patient here. Not diving in, trying to get a good arc with these goons. Trying not to let the Vultures get into the mineral line. We see some Zealots. There was a shuttle produced. That could be what Primal needs to hold this push off. Tanks are dangerously close to these mines here. This is something that we've seen burn Jess in the past. Alright, this shuttle is coming in. I think this is going to be Primal's cue to run in when these Zealots drop. huge arc of goons. My God, the shuttle is like right over the tree. It won't drop. Come on. Wow, wow, Jess actually can't see the shuttle at all. What are we waiting on, Jess? There's, by the way, there's 3 observers hanging out. Just hanging out in the turn natural. Just waiting for, or Primal waiting for Jess to make a mistake. Now these Zealots are trying to go in here, but they're filtering through the goons. Not ideal. The shuttle does manage to drop a few. All these goons on the high ground had not been moved in yet. Oh my God, a massive mind drag. It's still going to be enough. Like, look at that. Like, Protoss didn't even need these goons. All like these 7 goons were not necessary. Just to stop that. I really don't understand this, like, that choice of when to move out for Jess. I feel like if you're going to go for this build, you want to wait like a whole other minute to, you know, to get some more units, get those factories, get those upgrades, and now like Protoss is going to feel great. Killing all of those tanks. It's going to be a long time before Terran can do anything to hurt Protoss. That Primal is coming in here to the natural. We have 1 tank on the high ground, and the shuttle with 4 Zealots is going to be right there to kill it. Now, if these goons could run forward rather than kill this barracks, that might be what we need here to shut down the Terran defense. But now there's 2 tanks, one of them all on the high ground. Plenty of vultures here to defend this tank from any Zealot bombs, and I think Primal is going to back off for now. I'd like to see a 4th base coming online, maybe even a 5th base soon. For the Protoss, you don't want to sit back too long. Like, once all these tanks are dead, like, you need to do something with it. If you can't break them, you should expand. We do have a Jess with a vulture here in the bottom left, ready to stop that. So Primal would have to send a goon or 2 down there to clear that out. That +1 attack did finish for Jess, and the +1 armor is on the way. But I just realized that we don't even have a science facility yet, and like the armories weren't used at the same time. So I'm a bit confused about this build. Just a few things that can be ironed out. We do have a lot of vultures here trying to catch these goons out of position, but they back up to the high ground. I don't know where this op is going. Again, these mines, like, do not siege on mines as Terran. You are just asking to be Zealot bombed. And it's completely fine to kill your own mines when you move your tanks up. Like, that's much better than sitting on them and asking to be blown up. We got Simo in the chat. Good to see you here too. Oh, I think Primal's going in for a bust here. Speed is done on the Zealots. Oh God, big mind drag. I told you that would happen. Even with all of the vultures in the front, with the Zealots able to get on the tanks in the back and do some sick mind drags, Primal is able to close that out. Dude, I said it was going to happen. So you don't park on your own mines. Alright, we're going to give Jess a break here, but now it's the return of Primal against a Zerg player, Sloth. Alright, in the top right of Polypoid, in the teal, it's Fake Sloth. In the bottom right, returning as the red Protoss, it's Primal. Now, do you guys think Sloth, do they mean like the animal or like the sin? You know, like, are they like a cute little animal, or are they like a fundamental flaw in the human character? It's a very different vibe. So we haven't seen a lot of, well, we haven't seen any PvZ today. So it'll be good to have some variety here. You know, I always talk about Forge versus Gateway expand. Seems like Primal is going for Forge. That is normally what you expect when you see the probe leave after the Pylon Scout. But you know, whenever I say that, the Protoss just proves me wrong by building a Gateway anyway. Oh, we got a Dizzy Wee in the chat. Good to see you. Good to have new people in here. Ooh, seems like we're going... Oh, this is like a 10 hatch. Or no, that was a 9 hatch, I think, for Sloth here. So, this is not a fast expansion. This is like a massive Ling Flood kind of build. So Primal will have to identify that and get at least 2 cannons here. Like I'm honestly not super sure what you do. Like I know you just have to play it safe, but like how safe does that have to be here? And like I don't know if I would like detect that. Like, you know, I'd be like, oh, it's hatchery first. All right, time. I can just get my Nexus without cannons. Like, you know, like I don't know. I don't know if I would really be cognizant of that. I feel like maybe like this would be like really early for this hatchery to be this far done. I'm like trying to learn right now. I'm trying to be like, oh, okay, so the hatchery is like done at 2 minutes. You know, it's some shenanigans going on. Oh well, look, Sloth going for Gateway before any cannons. So maybe not totally aware here, or maybe you can just do this, like maybe like because the pool takes so long, like you don't have to worry about that. You know, you can get your Gateway and then get your cannons. It looks like Return in the chat actually knows something about it. So I'm kind of confused now. Like, I was expecting to see a ton of Lings, but we're just seeing like drones and gas. Like, I don't really know what the 9 hatch was for. I feel like we see this mostly in like ZVZ, and like it just becomes unlimited Lings. So maybe this is going to be like a bunch of speedlings, but then like, do you even need the hatchery that early? I don't know. Maybe because it was scouted so early, like Sloth felt like they had to give up the rush. We still don't have any cannons. We have no cannons anywhere. There's one zealot. Like, maybe, you know, it's like Sloth didn't scout that, but like I feel like if Sloth was like, oh, I can't do my bust anymore. What? Okay, so I don't know how Primal got that probe to drill without vision of the minerals. Like, I think like if you like shift queued when you still have vision of the minerals, does it work? I need to take notes on that. Anyway, we do have a Hydra Den here, so this is going to be some kind of Hydra bust, and Sloth did take the very, very close third here, which is going to make it that much stronger to reinforce with Hydras. But Primal, the absolute big brain star sense, went right through that base to confirm it. Okay, we got Return in the chat talking about how Return is good against Gateway first and like 2 gate shenanigans. So it's more of like a trade-off, like a gambling, like hedge your bets that Protoss will play one way rather than like an all-in like YOLO Ling bust. It sounds like. But just like I said, in TVP, like if Protoss does something weird, it's good to go for a 2-base factory push. Same thing in ZVP, like if something goes wrong in the early game, or if Protoss like is greedy and makes no fucking cannons, just make some Hydras. While I was saying that, in a classic fashion, it seems like Sloth went up to 4 hatcheries, which is definitely not like an all-in on the Hydra bust. But still pretty threatening. Maybe Sloth did that because the Hydras were scouted. Oh, try these Lings! These Lings are betraying the Zerg Swarm right now, blocking that Hydra from getting away from the cannons. Sloth having a bit of an issue here, trying to micro against these cannons. Is like Hydra range not done? Because I'm pretty sure with range you can hit a cannon, right? There is a Corsair here for Primal, finding an exposed Overlord here. I think these Hydras are going to get here just in time. But overall, I think Protoss is feeling pretty good about this game. Even got a second Forge at home. Like, possibly canceled weapons. I didn't really notice if it started. Like, we're not even using both Forges, but it was like absolutely prepared for this Hydra bust. Got the Corsair anyway. Scouts the fourth hatchery and the lair. Knows that Zerg is not committed to all-inning. So we're seeing more gateways. Should see Templar Archives soon. We're going up to 6 gateways. Just speed zealots. Like, this is Primal ready to just turn on the zealot hose, spray it at the Zerg, and see what damage can be dealt here. The lair is almost done. Are we going to see a Spire? Are we going to see the Lurkers? We're going to see this Corsair wait for this Overlord to spawn. Like, can you imagine like being born into the world and immediately a Corsair is just shooting you? Like, it's gotta be a sad existence. No potential for damage found there. So we do have this armor upgrade on the reserve forge being done. Armor is pretty strong against Hydras. They only do like 3/4 of their damage to solid HP, and they already start with an armor. So I think it's gonna be like they're gonna do like 5 or 6 damage a hit. That'll take a lot of hits to take down these zealots. They do actually have to move out here. All right, so we have 10 zealots moving out. Only 4 Hydras at the third. The sunk is just now starting, but one sunk is not going to turn the tides here. And this is the downside to having that super close third. Like, these zealots are going to get here completely unscouted. They're getting right up in the mineral. I don't even the Sim City not blocking that off. There is 1 second in the back, but who cares when there's like 12 zealots here? More than that. There's so many zealots. There's 6 gateways. Like we said earlier, the archives isn't even done yet. We're just pure zealot man right now. And this third base is getting absolutely chewed up. And Sloth even built like 3 hatcheries here. This is going to be half of Sloth's production. A critical danger. Oh, but the lurker tech is done. Sloth kind of actually walled himself out of his own third here. But if these lurkers do get down, they will make a mincemeat of these zealots. But I don't know if it's enough, right? Like it's good to keep your third alive, but a bunch of drones have died, a bunch of units have been made. Any kind of surprise factor on the lurkers is now gone. I think we saw a robo. We do see a robo. No, I can't even select it. No observatory yet. And there it is. There's a decent wall of cannons at the front. Pretty hard for Zerg to bust in and kill all those. But in the meantime, while Primal races to get detection out, it's going to make use of these zealots running around the map looking for bases, looking for potential for damage. There's no lurkers here. There's 1 lurker here at the natural. Very thin wall, just 4 hydras and a bunch of drones here. And this 1 lurker, like, it can't chase down all these zealots. There we go, Sloth trying to block the ramp here, but I think actually Primal could have forced their way in. But choosing to back out and save most of the hydras, or most of the zealots. We have Primal breaking down his own wall to escape. The Templar tag is on the way. Storm is almost done. It's about like 15 more seconds to build up. the mana on here. We have 2 DTs. I think just about everywhere is defended, but these DTs will be good to clear out bases, like we're seeing. Maybe scout the map, look for anything from Zerg. So one thing I do want to point out, oh, we have a shuttle. I think we are going to see DT drops. Like, the a Zerg, you know, even though they have overlords that can detect, they tend to pull them up like at the natural and the third. They often leave their main completely empty. Like, see, like, these overlords are even rallied out. So if you can do a DT drop, like, in the main, it's pretty brutal. I think that's what we're going to see Primal getting ready to pull off here. We have a 4th base at the mineral only. I hate trying to kill this base when it's Zerg, especially like in these angles. Like, think about like how Protoss would have to like charge into like this area surrounded by lurkers and hydras, and then like even like this space, like, so Protoss would be walking into like a 270 a degree surround there. Like, that would absolutely suck. But Primal's found a better angle here. Going to poke in the Templar just a bit forward here. And, oh, there we go. One gets picked off, not before putting a storm on just one lurker, I think. Yeah, oh yeah, without mana on the side Templar, like, Primal just has to run it. That there was a nice defense from Sloth. Did they catch this shuttle though? Look at this. Look at how much Zerg misery is in this shuttle. 3 DTs and a high Templar. Now, oh my god, is this Templar going to wait for these drones to like transfer and then storm, or just go to the natural? Oh my god, absolute massacre in the main. And the natural, so many drones going down. Absolutely cleared out. Like, normally when you drop a DT in the main, you're like, oh, I hope they don't notice. I hope I have time for it to come out. But when you have 3 DTs, there's no time. There's no time to pull. All of those drones died right away, and the High Templar just added insult to injury there. Nice play from Primal. Alright, so we're going to get into the last game of tonight. Again, I can only cast so many games today. I'm going to come back on Thursday with the rest of the games from this group, because these all been some pretty good games, so I definitely want to see more of these players. But this is going to be the last game for tonight. I think it's Sloth versus McSmush. I've forgotten already. Wait, RedAxis? We haven't seen RedAxis yet. Oh, is RedAxis Stimpak? I think that must be. I don't know, guys. I'm a very good caster, clearly. So we have a TVZ, the first one we've seen today. The return of Sloth. Oh, we got Dizzy. We apparently is RedAxis, I think, and therefore Stimpak. And I have to ask, like, are you not capable of using the same screen name more than once? So impossible. Like, I have so many people on my Brew War friends list. Like, I literally don't know who they are. And that's not a flex, by the way. Like, I'm literally just confused about who these people are. Like, I get like a PM. It's like, hey, you want to play a game again? I don't even remember ever playing with this person. I have no idea who they are. I'm not sure. Did I don't think I announced the players. Whatever. In the top right, in the bluish gray Terran, it's Stimpak, aka RedAxis, aka Dizzy. In the top left, it's the Tilzerg Sloth, aka Fake Sloth. Looking like a normal game here. No weird hatch timings from Sloth. Looks like it'll just be a 12 hatch, as is tradition. And presumably some kind of gasless expand from RedAxis. Don't really know what to talk about in this portion of the game. Everything is super standard. Well, okay, I'm trying to decide who these spawns are better for. I think Zerg would rather that they be swapped, right? Like I think Zerg would rather be clockwise from Terran. That would make it much easier to harass the natural mineral line. Like as it is, like mutas will have to like go through all of this open ground and then show up here. And like flying into the main, they'll have to go over all of this area before they can threaten something. And like Terran could make good use of this high ground to defend, especially later in the game, like when they get their third base. But these spawns do give Zerg a lot of potential for where to put their third base. There's lots of gas bases on this map that Zerg can grab. It'll be far away from Terran. Layer start, it looks like it'll be again a standard 2-hatch muta build, most likely. Sometimes in CPL you do see the 2 or 3-hatch lurker builds. Oh, the scouting has to be just not even trying to go with the main anymore, just turning around as soon as it gets attacked on the ramp. And Sloth could block the ramp here. It's a pretty big deal. Like Terran wants to know what's going on in the Zerg main. So RedAxis does not have an idea of what the hatchery count is or the lair timing, and that's a pretty scary position to be in. Now we do have a follow-up scouting SCV scooting right past these lings. Actually, there's absolutely nothing in the base of Zerg to block it. All these 2 lings. Just go to the ramp, or just kill the SCV. What? All right. Still no information. Oh my god. Meanwhile, at the Terran base, lings trying to run by to go to the ramp, but plenty of Marines and SCVs there to block. Oh man, like Sloth is like all in here, like, well, not all in, but like, you know, really wants to kill these Marines, and now all of those lings are gone. It's gonna be pretty scary for Zerg. Like, there's no ling here to scout when they move out. It seems like that'll be replaced right away. But like, you'd rather have those lings to scout, to keep putting pressure on the Terran, to you know, to use to defend it if you had to. But now, like, Terran doesn't even have to build a bunker. Zerg might have to spend larva rebuilding those lings. Got 1 sunken coming online. The Spire is just a bit past halfway done. Oh, we're going up! So actually, in the Terran base, we're not doing T-Rex Academy. We're getting a fast +1 with 4 barracks, and now we're getting the Academy. So this build is meant to deal with 3-hatch muta. It's not like an instant game over versus 2-hatch muta, but there is a potential for the first wave of mutas to do a bunch of damage before Terran can power up, I think. Believe that's why we don't see this build versus 2-hatch muta. We definitely want to see some turrets coming down soon. We even have air attack on these mutas, so they will be out for turret blood. Where's this hatchery? Oh, here it is. In the bottom left. So absolutely as far as it could possibly be from the Terran. Oh, we're seeing a few medics and a fire bat here from Terran. I think that's a good sign that he wants to push out soon. Zerg only has 1 creep colony, not even a sunken yet. I don't know if you can build them in time from these close positions. The first set of mutas is coming out here. Only 6. Oh, the lings are going to see this group start to move out here. You see that the mutas are pulling back. I want to pull this guy back just a little bit. The Sunken is going to morph. We have Creep Colony number 2 ready to go, and the mutas are pulled back. And now, even though Terran is ultimately, you know, they're just doing the whole like dance in the middle of the map, it has prevented these mutas from doing damage here. Like they've been pulled back here. And we have 2 fire bats looking for that third base. That third gas is absolutely critical for Zerg to get those lurkers and to get that hive tech. So if Terran can confirm where that base is, or even take it down, that's pretty important. And we have 2 drones here and a fire bat stimming. Can a fire bat damage any of this? Not really. The mutas are going to clean that up. In the meantime, RedAxis is moving out with this, with actually these 2 little groups of bio going down to threaten the third. And we actually have no Hydra Den for Sloth, so maybe going for some kind of crazy Zerg here, skipping lurkers, maybe even skipping defilers. But I feel like this might not be the game to go for that. Like, these mutas have been completely passive. You really need the mutas to do as much damage as possible to get away with skipping all of these defensive units as Zerg. Now, for now, with this large muta count, it is keeping the Bioforce away from the third base of Zerg, but taking a few losses to pay for it. Some excellent focus fire from RedAxis, taking out a few mutas and bruising 1 more. And this follow-up force of Marines might actually just go around the mutas here. I'm actually not even sure if this is crazy Zerg. I think it's like just muta men. Like, there's no Evo chambers working on armor upgrades or anything. Well, we do have a Queen's Nest, so maybe we are headed to that hive tech. But this Bioforce has gotten around the mutas. There's no links to spot here, and the mutas are on the other side of the map trying to defend this push. They might actually just take out all of these Marines, but the real story is this third. Like, Terran will happily sacrifice that force to kill this third base. All the drones go down immediately. The gas and the hatchery are in danger. Sloth choosing to attack the unnatural, and there's nothing in the bunker. There's only the just spawned reinforcements from Terran that get here. What is there to stop? There's not even... Okay, there are 2 turrets, and there's 3 turrets here by the barracks, but I think with that attack upgrade and with these lings, like, Zerg can just take these out. Oh, there are only 3 mutas? Okay, never mind. I don't know. I think probably the spawning Marines will deal with this. I thought there were more mutas. Maybe I'll get taken out while I wasn't looking. And now, actually, with the end of that push, I think it's looking pretty good for Terran. Okay, yeah. If we had, like, these mutas here to help with that fight, it would have been a very different story. But now Terran has 2 starports, 6 barracks. The third base of Zerg is dead. It's looking pretty good for Terran. Now we do have hive tech on the way for Zerg, and like there's like nothing that changes the flow of a game in StarCraft like a defiler, right? I don't think Zerg can go for ultras here. Like, I don't think you can really do that off of 2 gas. But you know, like even 1 or 2 defilers can change the game. Could keep Sloth alive here. There is a new third base. I don't know if that was what Jess was scanning. Or not Jess, RedAxis. But even if we do get a defiler, like, what are we gonna defend with the Darkstorm? Like, a couple of lings? I don't know. Like, you can't have the mutas land and chill under the Darkstorm. Now, Sloth is going in here trying to go for the killing blow one more time, but there's so many Marines here on the high ground. I don't think that these mutas can do it. No, they're going to absolutely shoot up. Who even needs to radiate when you have bullets? And RedAxis takes the game. All right, well played from both players there. And like I said, I only have time for half of the group today. So make sure you tune back in on Thursday. I think I definitely will be trying to finish this group because these games have all been pretty good. So I'm going to head off. I'm going to find someone to raid. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I always appreciate it. All right, let's see who's playing StarCraft today and who can I raid, you know, with actually spelling their name correctly. Let's try to actually get Terra this time. There we go. All right. Goodbye, everybody.